Next, Mark, you can unmute and ask your question.
Wow. This is a very important statement and question in one. And we personally want to thank you for bringing this forth because this is happening to so many individuals right now in their incarnation. And it's almost once you are aware, it is hard to ignore, even though you cannot possibly pinpoint it or translate it. But this is why it's always said individuals can come and go from one's lives. At the end of the day, it's not as if individuals share a journey. No, they run parallel with each other. And it's not that much that the one is better or the one is more advanced or the one is so let's say this. We would try our best to explain this through this channel. There are individuals that will drink certain beverages, say for argument's sake, coffee without cream and sugar. And there are some individuals that just love to drown. They'll have a little bit of coffee with their milk and their sugar. Try to give and swap that around because it is not something that they've been accustomed to, or they no longer like that way. It is the most terrible taste experience for those individuals. Unless the one that takes a lot of cream and sugar starts to gradually cut down on the cream and gradually cuts down on the sugar, eventually they'll be able to get to a point where they'll be saying, I don't even need this cream or this sugar. Or the other individual starts to add a little bit of creamer and will say, and adds a little bit of sugar and starts to get used to and saying, you know what, this isn't even as sweet as it used to be. Let me make it sweeter. And then they start getting like, let me make it sweeter. The point is this: unless you and say the other individual, if you're going to be sharing a beverage, say as this coffee, unless the both of you have the same type of taste or same type of desire or preference, you would not be able to share that beverage. So in other words, unless the both individuals are bringing forth a frequency that somewhat matches, it cannot work, because what tends to happen is the one may feel overwhelmed by the other's frequency, or it's just bouncing. It's just not being able to flow as it should. So it causes more friction than what it does as a nice flow of unity where it can merge together. And what often happens is, even though individuals may be walking along and sharing a space, even though it's their own journeys, and they're noticing this. It gets to some point where, if unless they are energetically progressing together and growing together, it does tend to make a mismatch. It's like eventually being in a car that all the wheels have the same tread, and then all of a sudden taking off a wheel to replace it with a lesser tread. Eventually, the vehicle doesn't run as smoothly as it should because it's not matching the tread. It makes the journey very uncomfortable, and it doesn't make the other one um bad or the other one better, because sometimes that individual's frequency that isn't as possibly enhanced, if you will, or not in that space, there might be a reason why they're not meant to be in that space yet, because they still have more to accomplish in the other space that they're in before they can even move over. So it's it's not about a right or wrong, but it's about how each individual feels in their comfort zone. If something is making you feel uncomfortable, there is no rule saying that you need to be in that space to tolerate it. Now, in saying that, though, there are going to be changes in your life that you will experience things that feel uncomfortable, but that's more because it's something that is a positive uncomfortable feeling, because it's causing change and it's causing things to happen in order for you to be propelled. But if it's something that's bringing down your frequency or bringing down your energy, that is stealing your joy, that is just making you feel awkward and uncomfortable, then it is recommended to move away from that space. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you for the analogy that makes it
That,
easier to
yes.
absorb.
This channel works best with analogies in order for the messages to be relayed.